A known person who had created a ruckus down in D.C. a year ago, less than a year ago, was shot as he tried to enter the visitor center with a weapon. I want to go straight out to Fox News Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen for the latest. James.
Charles, good evening. We do have some new developments since you and I last spoke. U.S. Capitol Police said that while their investigation remains ongoing, at this point, they have no reason to believe this is anything other than a lone individual and anything other than a crime, meaning they don't believe it to be an act of terrorism. The event started at around 2:39 p.m. Eastern Time at the North or Senate side of the Capitol Visitor Center. That's when Capitol Police said that this individual was trying to go through the screening area with a weapon and then drew that weapon. One or more officers drew their weapons and fired at the suspect, and he was hit and then transported to a nearby hospital, and last we heard was being operated on, was in surgery, condition unknown. Multiple sources have told Fox News that the suspect's name is Larry Russell Dawson of Tennessee. There are some unconfirmed reports that it was Mr. Dawson who was arrested after an outburst inside the U.S. House chamber in October. We're still working to confirm that. None of the officers were injured or shot, as some reports had previously indicated. Rather, what appears to have happened, according to police sources, is that one of the officers, when discharging his weapon, either suffered blowback or somehow one of the spent casings or what have you struck him. The one female bystander who was injured, we now know, was treated on the scene and released with only minor injuries. Charles.
James Rosen, thank you very much. Back with me, Rod Wheeler and Steve Rogers. Rod, again, it's really a tough situation, because we are in such heightened sense of anxiety in this country. But I think a lot of people are going to wake up tomorrow when the details come out. And if it is indeed this Larry Russell Dawson guy, he went to the House chamber last October, screamed, I am the prophet God, assaulted a police officer, and it's less than a year later, and here he is trying to enter the visitor center with a weapon.
That's right. And some of my contacts and sources informed me earlier today, Charles, that this guy is really a lunatic. He's really, a basket case. They are familiar with him, the Capitol Hill Police. They remember this guy from last October when he had the outburst right here in the House chamber. They didn't know that this guy was still around the area, though. I'm also learning, and this has not been confirmed, that this guy, Larry Dawson, could have had an active arrest warrant out for his arrest because of that incident that took place last October. So we're working to try to confirm that, because if that is the case, then the question becomes, how can a guy with an active arrest warrant gain access inside the U.S. Capitol building? So we're trying to figure out whether or not that's actually confirmed.
Steve, the challenge, right, is that we don't want to live in a militaristic sort of life. We want to be able to live freely, but these things hit closer and closer to home.
Well, they do, Charles, and this is one, as Rod just said, probably one of many people who have mental problems. And how does the police track all
he has
those?
a track record.
But he has a track record. But it goes back to intelligence and manpower. How do you spend all the time and money to follow one person? It is a big challenge.
All right, thanks. Leave it there. Now to our other breaking news. The FBI has successfully